Okay, okay, I'm back. Um, you know, I paused for a little bit because if you put more than, I say, more than 12 minutes on Facebook, you have to recalculate some stuff, and I don't know. It's. I mean, oh, I meant to say YouTube. It's YouTube language, and some of you know what that means. Okay, I want to come back to where I was and speaking about truths before I left. I think about our lives and what is true to me. When I was a youngster, um, I wasn't exposed to anything but the Pentecostal faith. And we had cousins who were Baptists, which they started out they started out in the Pentecostal faith because we all were raised right there in my grandmother's house. And my grandmother and mother's truth was what they felt they needed. And it was very, Pentecostal is very strict. No wearing of pants, no wearing of jewelry. And as a child and even as a grown woman, I don't have them on today, but I love bangles. Oh, well, hey, look, I love rings. I don't have as many as what I used to have on these little fingers, and earrings and things like that. But it was very strict coming up that you couldn't wear uh, jewelry. But that was that was satisfactory for my mother. Um, but my aunties, they became Baptists, and they had a truth that set them free because I remember two of my aunties. They no more than two. I have eight aunts. Well, most of them are passed, but eight aunts and one uncle coming up when I was a child. That most of them are all passed now, even my mother. But I remember these aunties. They had rings on every finger, uh, earrings, and they loved earrings, and they wore pearls and necklaces, and lots of bangles. You couldn't do that in the Pentecostal faith, but in the Baptist faith, you could do that. In the Pentecostal faith, you couldn't dance, but in the Baptist church that my aunties went to, you could dance, and you could play a little cards at home, and you can have a little sippy sippy. But in the Pentecostal faith, you couldn't do that. So these aunts found a truth that set them free, and I think that's just how it is, that we each find a truth that sets us free. And because I don't choose what sets you free, doesn't mean that I'm not free within my heart and soul. Because in the end, who is it that we have to pay homage to? It's the Creator. In many faiths, the Creator is called many things, and it is a truth that has set them free. Um, I think that loving a person for who they are is what the Creator wants from us, which right now at this moment, I'm sharing with you a truth that I feel has set me free. I don't care what color you are or what size you are or how tall you are or how small you are. I, I'm going to honor you. I'm going to love you, and I'm going to respect you. No matter what your gender is, what your sexual preference is. Who am I to judge you for who and what you are and what your truth is? And even though I'm speaking about truth, But this thing was so strong with me, um, about one of the gentlemen. He insisted that he had to tell my Christian niece that she was not following the right truth. And I asked him not to. And he said to me, would you let a friend drive drunk? No, I would not let a friend drive drunk. But at the same time, if I arrived to a location or I went with a friend and I asked a friend not to drink, that I'll do the driving, and if they don't want me to do the driving, it's nothing I can do about it. But I have sense enough not to get in that vehicle with that drunk friend and go back to my location. But have you ever tried to take a key from an intoxicated friend, a drunk friend, your husband, your mother, your father, boyfriend, somebody you care about? You can't get those keys from them because they are feeling, I can get in this car and I can drive anywhere I want to. No, you can't. But you can't get the keys from them. And that's the same way, well, what an analogy, but that's the same way I see people in their truths. You can't take their truth from them. And he said that to me. Would you let a friend drive drunk? And I just politely said, no, I wouldn't. But please do not come at her like that anymore because she's not ready for your truth. I believe in every truth that we have, no matter what our religion is. Again, I'm sharing a belief, a truth, what your religion is, your sexual preferences, your field of study in history, science, whatever it may be. You never stay at level 1. You always move from level 1 to level 2, level 3, level 4, and the levels move. And our position in life is the same way. When and the scripture says this, when I was a child, I thought as a child. I'm a grown ass woman now. What benefit does it benefit me to think as a child and to continue to think as a child when I'm a woman? So I think as a woman and not as a child. And that's what happens with our beliefs in setting us free. We begin to think different. You can have anything and you can do anything you want and you can stay at any level you want to. But once you embark upon a spiritual climb, you don't always stay at level 1. Because at level 1, you want to tell everyone about this beautiful experience, and you have no question that your belief is wrong. So you want to share it with everyone. You want to tell everyone about, oh, this is the truth. I know this is the truth. This is the only way it is. When you get to level 2, you get to thinking, this is a very good experience, but they told me that if I think this way, this and that will happen. And you begin to question your freedom. You begin to question, are you really free? And now you're in level 2. Who's to say now you don't have to abandon what you experienced in level 1. You have to move with level 2. And sometimes you might stay years at 1. Some people never get out of 1. And some people never get out of 2. I read a book by a beautiful woman called Ayala Van Zandt. Hey, could you give me a minute?